Y'all can see. Okay, just going to give everyone a couple of seconds to join in. Okay, well, my name is Tyler Bauer, but first I want to thank Oasis for allowing me to speak with y'all today. Um, I run Cloud at Work and help start the business. And what I focus on is working with business owners and partners in helping them identify the next steps of their digital transformation and their security journey. So today we're going to talk a little bit about trends in the space of 2023 and what's different for our customers and for our own systems, and what's been taking place over the last 12 to 24 months that is really promoting change within the way that we make technology decisions. Now, I know today we have about 20 minutes. My presentation is probably going to be about 15 minutes. So please, part of why I love to do these is to interact and to have questions. So if we do have questions, please just put them into the bottom portion of the question tab, and we'll get to them at the end. So let's first start out with technology today and kind of a recap. So remote connectivity is more important now than ever before. Companies are sometimes having organizations that are all coming still back to a central location, but most are having employees still work from home or working on the road or working in multiple locations at one time. So people need to connect into something to access from wherever on whatever. Now, that does cause challenge around speed and connectivity and making sure that we have the right approach to that type of feel. So the speeds are not slowing down, however. We demand faster, better, stronger systems to help us, even though we want to connect remotely. We're using more data now than we ever have in the past, and that trend is not slowing down as well. We want to connect from multiple devices, so not just physical computers or laptops, but we want to actually connect from tablets or phones even. Teams and Zoom is the new water cooler, right? This is how we're building culture within our organization. We're maintaining culture. This is how we're interacting with customers, vendors, employees, and that's all happening now remotely. We still demand that things are going to happen right away, right? We're not, our appetite for patience as far as things not happening the way we want them to, that's not slowing down. We always are going to want to push the bar as we begin to experience more and more technology. And the applications that we're using, the new versions of them are becoming more and more powerful. So what happens when these capabilities slow down? They break or stop working. It's chaos. And it's even more chaos when we're not all in one place to kind of huddle together and fix it together or to solve for just one problem. So we need to think differently about how we're going to solve this. So in a typical situation now, if something breaks, it could take way longer to get something to replace it. If it's a physical thing that was busted, like a server, a switch, a router, it's not as readily available as it used to be. If you go to the secondary market, you're going to be paying exponentially more due to inflation and due to the overall supply and demand of the market. All the while, we're unwilling to bend from our employee and customer experience, and our reaction may be to snap react to the cloud service market. And this whole time, while we're making up all these choices, because we didn't plan adequately in the beginning, we're unable to be productive. So we're making emotional decisions, which we never want to do in technology. So we have 3 steps that we can take to solve this problem. We can buy more stuff. So if we have on-premise infrastructure today, we have servers today, we can buy more of it, whether to create redundancy or to add more of inventory to replace things with. We can invest in disaster recovery. So we can accept that maybe we don't have an acceptable level of redundancy locally, but we're going to create redundancy by adding a second site that we can recover to, or we can migrate to the cloud. Now, within the first piece, we can buy more stuff, but that doubles down on the need to manage and purchase lead times effectively. So as things become harder and harder to get, you're going to need to be able to fit that into your job description, into your roles. You'll need to buy more and really think around redundancy to fill those single points of failure in order to come to an acceptable point of risk for the business. Those things are getting more and more expensive, and the people to manage them are getting more and more expensive. And all the while, we'll need to manage and secure this environment and this connectivity of remote people connecting in and people coming into the office. And security is increasing at an increasing rate, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. These pressures continue to grow. Now, the second option is we could invest in DR. And a lot of companies that I talk to are moving to solutions like Datto or Infoscale. Maybe some of you use those solutions today. I think they're great solutions, but what they aren't is true disaster recovery. Disaster recovery is defined by what's called recovery time objective and recovery point objective. And those are just fancy words to basically say, what's the acceptable amount of time that I'm down? And what's the acceptable amount of time of data loss? What's that period of time? And companies who provide services back will give you an actual guarantee contractually for those times, basically saying, hey, you're not going to lose this much of data and you're never going to be down for this amount of time. Now, what Datto and Infoscale do is they provide a physical device that sits on your network that you can do local recovery, which I feel is a fantastic solution for businesses today. If a physical server fails, you now have an option to restore locally off of that device. It's great. However, what happens if your office fails? If the power goes out, if something happens to the internet within your local office, now all of those people that are remote and all those people that need access aren't going to have it. So what Datto does is they restore or offer restoration to their cloud. I've interacted with multiple companies, north of 20, who have used these solutions. And when they had to fail over to that cloud using their Sage applications and their business applications, they were extremely underwhelmed with performance and with the way things went. They actually had to meet or curb their expectations for what they could actually accomplish in that cloud solution. And they really didn't have a plan for how they were going to migrate off with the failing infrastructure. So it is something that you want to test. You want to make sure that you're planning for the worst case scenario, and that, while it is a cloud solution to fail over to, typically performance and the level of cloud solution that you're getting there is not something that is extremely robust. The second option is you could use AWS or Amazon or Azure to build a second set of servers that you could use for failover. However, that is a solution that either you or a service provider would manage, and that would work for you to fail over too. Again, the thing you want to ask yourself is, when you do fail over to those solutions like Azure and AWS, it's almost like a metered service. It's a utility. So how long are you planning to use it, and what's your risk point for that solution, and what's your budget for that solution? Because those costs can get out of control very, very quickly. Or you could look at a data center, a co-location facility, to add more gear to and manage the same way that you're managing your on-premise. However, that kind of doubles down to that first point, which is buy more stuff. So you have to answer this question first before you would decide to place your infrastructure into a co-location facility. And the third is cloud computing. I bet you all can guess which option I'm a fan of. Spent the last 15 years of my career really embracing and pioneering cloud solutions for business applications. Certainly, there are many different types of cloud solutions out there, and there are many different customers with different needs and risk points. Every cloud company, every cloud solution is not the same. However, there are some common threads as far as what's provided, and what you get are unlimited scalable resources, built-in redundancy, enhanced performance, enhanced security, finger on the pulse of where security is going, so you don't have to necessarily be an expert there, and you don't have to buy any more stuff for the things that you're putting there. Now, I did pull some stats, and these stats are from 2021. I know the bottom piece says 2020, but these trends have continued even through 22. When we look at where people are migrating to the cloud and what they're migrating to the cloud, you can see here from this map that line of business applications are a very, very big piece. What I've seen in Cloud at Work, which we work with about 700 or so customers, we're seeing companies digitally transform or migrate to the cloud for the first time. And so they're beginning to look at, where can I take the most important part of my business and put it into a solution that is secure, redundant, available, and Cloud at Work fits that mold. And what our customers have been coming back to us with is saying, Tyler, look, you're doing a great job with our line of business application, and it's solved a lot of problems for us. But now we have still these same risk points around security, availability, and redundancy for our desktops, for our file servers, for our Active Directories, for Office 365, for our Office, for all of our line of business applications away from Sage. Can you help us? And that's really, when you're looking at the second tier there, those are, the solutions that are migrating, I would say, just at the same rate as the line of business apps. Now, at Cloud at Work, we're very dedicated to obviously focusing on providing the absolute best experience for Sage end users and Sage partners in the cloud. But part of that is thinking outside of Sage as well, and really solidifying and securing the access points as security pressures continue to grow. So that's why I'm very, very proud that we're partnering with Azure to do Azure Virtual Desktop Services, Office 365 services to help round out the cloud experience and secure the cloud experience for companies who are looking to mitigate that risk and to continue to digitally transform. Now, there are challenges with public cloud. So a lot of companies that I talk to are asking me, hey, Tyler, look, we have Azure today, or we have AWS today. How can you make it better? Well, the number one challenge that companies have is controlling the cloud costs. You almost need a PhD to really architect and design the right solution for your business based on the users, based on your risk points, based on your redundancy needs, et cetera. And so at Cloud at Work, we have a ton of experience in really taking the fine-tooth comb through your business to build the right cloud tenant for you around your Sage application in Cloud at Work. Now, the second piece is data privacy and security challenges. A lot of people have these preconceived notions that by just putting business applications or putting other applications and workloads into Azure AWS, there's this inherent level of security that they're putting it into this vault. However, that's not the case. There are a lot of layers that go above and below to make sure that the access of the data is very, very secure and very controlled. To give you an example, a lot of companies that I'm talking to today are using physical devices, and they're using them to access cloud applications. Companies that I'm talking about have Sage and Cloud at Work, but maybe are working from home and connecting in from their home network using a corporate device or maybe using their own device. And what's happening is these devices are holding corporate data, these physical things. And by connecting in from multiple networks, whether it be in an airport, a Starbucks, your home network, your business network, you're adding more opportunity for that device to become impacted or a threat. Threat actors use those networks as gateways to get to physical devices. And so at Cloud at Work, what we're trying to do is to separate the physical device and the data. So we're essentially creating virtual desktop infrastructure that you can use any physical device securely and connect to a workspace in the cloud that's completely secured, completely controlled, and allows you to very confidently access your cloud applications and access all of your corporate data without having to worry about the network that you're connecting in from, without having to worry about whether the device is compromised or not. And you can do all of that and scale that very easily. So governance and compliance, lack of security skills, securing and protecting cloud resources, these are all challenges and that are continuing to mount. So let's get into some of the trends. We talked a little bit about this, but the office, in my opinion, is almost gone. A lot of companies I'm talking to are downsizing their investment into the real estate market, the corporate real estate market. Not all business, but some. And so we have to be open as an organization to collaborate and work from home. This promotes risk points and transitions businesses that have made decisions for multiple years around people coming into a central location and puts them in a major disadvantage when they're trying to create their security stance for the future. All the while, we have instant gratification that we need to accomplish. So we need performance. We need this next gen approach to how people want to connect. And we need to be open to new ideas or open to what the future may give us around tech interaction and remote VR. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the new Apple VR solution that's come out recently. Really, really interesting, right? Not sure if that is the new PC or the new computer that people will be using. I still think you look kind of goofy with those headsets on, but who knows? I mean, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know if everybody would have thought we'd have a phone in our pocket. So you never know. So you have to be open to those changes. But one thing that is very interesting is today, the average person interacts with a smart device around 2,400 times a day. Now, I don't know about you, but I have two young boys, and I'm constantly yelling at them to get off their screens, to get off the devices. IDC and Gartner predict that by 25 in our business and personal lives, our interaction with smart devices to a data center will double. So that may be through VR, that may be through a phone, tablet, TV, I'm not sure, but they're predicting that will double. So just think about how much you're on a screen, how much you're interacting with cloud applications today. Picture that doubling. So we have to prepare ourselves for that. Security is insecure. So I talk to so many companies who have been impacted through security events, or no companies that have been impacted through security events. And these are just some quick stats that people or that are trends that are happening. If you're not taking cybersecurity seriously, now is the time. Cybersecurity is no longer this blanket phishing attempt that is so obvious. I'm seeing companies with emails crafted by the CEO requesting invoices to be cut, or POs to be distributed, and checks to be cut. I've seen threat actors weave their way from a vendor to one of my customers to then back to another vendor, basically requesting payment for said invoice that didn't exist and routed to an offshore account north of 6 figures, right? So these things can happen, and it's not anything that we know is coming, right? Unless you're taking the proper steps to monitor, manage, and maintain your security presence and your security posture. If you feel like you're not taking it seriously, when I say start to take it seriously, the thing to do is to not just go out and purchase cyber insurances. Those are necessary. However, in my opinion, in the future, those are going to become more and more expensive based on what steps you're taking to really posture yourself within a secure solution. So at Cloud at Work, for example, we offer turnkey solutions for cybersecurity like EDR, XDR that are already embedded into our Cloud at Work solution and as well embedded into our virtual desktop solution. So a company who's using virtual desktop with Cloud at Work for their Sage application, you have an entire SOC 2 Type 2 audit and compliance around that entire bubble with EDR, XDR, and tons of threat and SOC capability within the solution that you're purchasing. So it's turnkey. You can pass right through and not have to worry about it. Some companies prefer to do it themselves. However, most that I'm talking to, because of not being able to hire adequately, are looking at the service market for that. At Cloud at Work, we're on finger on the pulse of to where this is going, so you can be confident that we always have your back and we can offer a solution to take you to the future. And the third piece is workforce, people, and retention. If we don't take technology seriously, if we don't take security seriously, and we don't open the doors to allow employees and our customers and our vendors to interact with us in different ways, we don't have or want to take the initiative to think differently about how we're using technology, it can actually impact the retention and impact what types of people we're able to attract to grow and to scale our business into the future. I see it a lot with new employees that are coming out of college, talking to me, asking me questions about how we do said process and what technology we're using to accomplish that. The reason for it is they've either been introduced to it or they found better ways to do things. And I'm, for one, always open to new ideas and want to figure out how to use technology within our business to better serve our customers and partners. So, summary of the market, it's very unique, right? This is a very unique market. Be proactive. If you're thinking that maybe you want to talk to somebody, reach out to your account manager at Oasis. If you'd like to talk to me personally, reach out to your account manager Oasis and I'll personally get on a phone with you. Happy to go through your business and at least talk to you about thinking differently. So be proactive. If you haven't had those conversations yet, please do. With that, I'll turn it back over to Falana and the Oasis team. I think I did go a little over. I apologize. But if anybody has any questions, please type them in and I'll be happy to answer.